All right, good people. I came to the shed real fast just to talk a little bit about if you was if just say for instance you read the Bible, right? And just think about you reading the Bible. What would your life? Who would you be in the Bible? Who would you be? What would your life look like? So I want to tell you about mine. Okay, in many ways, my life reminds me of a story of the story of David in the Bible. David was a man who faced many challenges, hardships, and in moments of deep distress. Yet he'd always found strength and hope by turning to God. Like David, I have experienced times when everything seemed to fell apart. When I felt overwhelmed by problems and uncertainties. But through his example, I have learned how to encourage myself in the Lord and find courage to keep going. Okay? David life wasn't easy. At one point, his home was destroyed and his loved ones were taken captive by enemies. His own men were so upset they even talked about stoning him out of bitterness and grief. Yet, in the middle of this crisis, David did something remarkable. He strengthened himself in the Lord, his God. Instead of giving into despair or blaming others, David looked beyond his troubles and found hope and guidance in God. I relate to David because, like him, I faced moments when life felt unfair and painful. Sometimes people around me get upset or disappointed, and it's tempting to react with anger or frustration. But David's example teaches me to pause, reflect, and turn my heart towards God instead of letting negative emotions control me. When I do this, I find peace and strength to face my problems with courage. Another reason my life is like David is because that he was not perfect. Listen, he was not perfect. He made mistakes, he faced consequences, yet he always sought God's forgiveness and tried to live according to God's will. David was called a man after God's own heart because his faith and love for God law. Even when the struggles, this reminds me that I have to be I don't have to be perfect to grow spiritually. What matters is that I keep seeking God, learn from my mistakes, and trust Him to guide me. Okay, my life is like David because I experienced challenges, doubt, fear, but I also found an opportunity to encourage myself in the Lord and find strength in Him. David's story inspires me to trust God in difficult times, to act with faith and humility, and to keep moving forward no matter what happens. Just as David found hope and courage in God, I believe I can too. Okay, that's my story, you guys. If this come across your For You page, this message was meant to find you somehow, some way. And if did nobody tell you today that they love you, just know that God loves you and so do I.